Welcome back to SV Ramble On, and thanks again for joining us. So this weekend coming up, Jenny and I want to take the boat out for a couple of days, and one of the things I've been meaning to do is drain our water tanks and clean them out. Right now they're pretty disgusting, and when you take water from a hose through your deck fill and fill up your tanks, you never know kind of quite what you're going to get. The last time we were out, we drained one tank and noticed that it looked kind of gunky inside. So I checked the other tank, and when we switched over, I checked the other tank, and it looks pretty gunky also. If you haven't seen it, we have a video, two-part video on tank installations. Jenny will link it up there. Yeah, we installed the water tanks back in, well, I think, October of 2017. Mostly we exist off of dock water, which is plumbed directly into the boat. That goes through a 3-part filter system and then a water softener additionally. And for drinking water, we also use a tabletop filter. So what we're going to do is take a look at the water tanks. We're going to clean them out. We're going to go through our water filtration system. And I'm also going to regenerate our water softener system, and I'll explain a little bit of that later. So these are our water tanks down on the floor, and I got the lids open, and as you can see, they're looking a little grimy. They're not as bad as other water tanks I've seen on the internet. Some people really have some real problems with their water tanks. There's a bit of gunk growing on the walls. This tank has been drained for a couple of weeks. This is our second tank over here. This is our deep tank, but as you can see, there's some gunk swirling around. So I've already drained the tanks as far as I can take them down with the pressure pump. So I'm going to have to do some vacuuming and cleaning to suck all the residual out of there. Then I'm going to do a chlorine treatment that I saw online. So this is our dock water. This one is our water filter. What we do is about once a month we change out the filter. It's a 20 micron filter, and that kind of grabs most of the gunk. And I'm about to do a change on it, and then we're going to take a look and see how crappy the water actually is. So off this green hose, coming here along our shore power, it comes up over the deck and then goes to the other side. So here's where our dock water comes into the boat, and we have a little inlet with a cap, and this hose actually is certified for potable water. It's a Gator hose, and I have not been able to find a replacement for it yet. So water comes in here through the cockpit combing into the lazarette. I got a big hole where our PEX plumbing from the dock water supply comes into the boat. Then it goes to a 5 micron filter, and then it also goes to another chlorine, PCBs, VOCs, all that stuff. Takes it all out. We're on well water, so we have a really high mineral content. So what we also do is it's plumbed to a portable water softener. It's called On The Go. They use them in RVs. It's about the size of a scuba tank. As you can see, we got our portable dock water softener. We got our 2 filters here. They all come into the boat, and it goes through a valve, and that valve controls whether we're on pressure pump or whether we're on dock water. And then it goes down here and gets plumbed into the rest of the boat through the pressure pump system and all that stuff. So the last thing we do before we drink any of the water is we run it through this Berkey canister filter thing. They're not cheap, but they really make great drinking water. What you do is you take the lid off, you fill it up with water. The water goes through a series of 2 charcoal filters. Then it goes through 2 additional filters on the bottom. The upper filters, I think, have they have a pretty long life expectancy. The lower filters are about once a year. That's our drinking water only. Of course, when we go sailing, you don't want this thing falling over, so we do have to drain it and stow it. Same with this air conditioner unit. We gotta lash that thing to the table legs just so we can go sailing. So for the forward tank, it has about a 34-gallon capacity. For sanitizing purposes, they recommend about 1/8 of a cup per 10 gallons. But to make math simple, if you take your tank capacity multiplied by 0.13, that'll give you the total amount in ounces. That's based on a 5% sodium hypochlorite Clorox bleach, your over-the-counter. This stuff is actually concentrated, so it's like 8.5%. And what I'm gonna do is dump this in here. Then I'm gonna fill off of filtered dock water, and I'm gonna bring the tank up to full height. Right. Tank number 2 is just about half full, and it's got that bleach solution. I also have a brand new, never been used toilet brush, and I'm going to get down inside and scrub out the inside of the tank and knock all that rusty residue and all that gunk out of the inside of this bleachy tank. So the recommended soak time is about 4 hours, and you got to be careful, all the dip tubes. We've got a tank tender, and it has a very small 3/32 diameter hose, and you don't want that to snap off, so don't get too rough with it. You know, most of the solids are coming off. It's just the iron stains that are in the polyethylene. These are rotomolded polyethylene tanks. We had them custom made. So after a nice long soak, I think this thing is just about as chlorinated as it needs to be. What do you do with the water now? Well, you can pump it overboard and kill all the fish. Or you can add 3% hydrogen peroxide at the rate of about, I think it's a teaspoon per 20 gallons. So I'll put in a couple of teaspoons of hydrogen peroxide and then circulate that around inside the tanks to help neutralize the chlorine. So what this does is it bonds with chemicals that I don't know enough about, and it helps neutralize the chlorine molecules. I guess it oxidizes chlorine. So how do you circulate it around the tank? Well, I've got my pre-sanitized little bilge pump guy. And this is my portable bilge pump, and I use it all over the boat for various projects. And then I'm just going to circulate that around inside the tank a little bit. So once you circulated the peroxide solution around a little bit to help neutralize the chlorine, then all you do is just use the same utility bilge pump, just push it overboard. Also, it helps clean out the grime inside the bilge. Alright, let's open this thing up and see what this water filter looks like after a little less than a month. So this filter is full of charcoal. It's got carbon and all that stuff in it, so it's naturally that color once it's wet. Alright, so the last thing to do before we turn the water back on and fill up the tanks is drain this heavy beast, get it out of here, take it out to the dock and regenerate it. And we do that about every couple of months or so because the water's so hard around here. So to regenerate the water softener, all you do is add two of these round tubs of plain old uniodized Morton salt, and you unscrew the cap and you dump it in, and then flush water through it for about a half hour. Also, they recommend that you use super iron out, a couple of teaspoons of that if you got really hard water like we do. So I always, every time I regen, I add a couple of teaspoons of this stuff. And there's 4 teaspoons. All right, so once you got all the salt in, you put the lid back on and adjust it to where it just comes dribbling out. They say just shooting past the edge of the canister from the outlet. And then you leave it run for 30 minutes. So after 30 minutes, turn it up full blast and go for about another 6 or 8 minutes. And then you're done. That's it. So just for comparison, I got some, these are water hardness test strips. And we'll test the water coming out of the softener. And we'll test the water going into the softener. Huge difference. There's the test strips. Where about they sit. We're about 40 parts per million right out of the water softener, freshly regenerated. Coming out of the tap, we're over, it's like close to 1,000. Somewhere between 500, 750, maybe 1,000 parts per million. These strips aren't all that accurate. So what I want to do before I fill up the tanks, now that the all the filters and water softener are hooked up and everything's good, no leaks or anything, I want to add a couple of ounces of this to each tank. And what it is it's it helps preserve the water, I guess. It's a tank treatment and freshener. Helps keep water fresh, odor and taste free, biodegradable formula. Safely maintains water quality. So I'm going to add a couple of ounces of this to each water tank, and then I'm going to fill them up. So we got this stuff from Starbright, and I just read about it online. We haven't tried it out yet, so we'll let you know how it works. I also got this, which is water shock concentrate, and same thing. This one, that's 1 ounce per 10 gallons. It cures bad tasting water, removes foul smell from freshwater tanks and systems. I guess if the water's been stored for a long time, it starts picking up plasticky tastes and odors and whatnot. So you add this stuff to the tank. I'm not going to add this yet because the tanks are nice and clean, but we'll see how that goes. So now this water is coming off the filter and the water softener. So now we fill them up. All right. So it's about a month and a half later, and I just wanted to do an update and check the insides of the water tanks. This one's almost full, and we're not using it right now. We're currently on dock water, but I just wanted to see what it looks like after this tank has been unused and it's been sitting for a while. I don't know if you can see it very well. Actually, it looks pretty clean.
Is it just stain?
Yeah, that's just the staining. I mean, I couldn't get that off with the thing, but you can actually see the bottom of the tank. Yeah, shine the light through the plastic, you can see in there really well. Yeah, this tank has only got about 5 inches of water.
What's on the bottom back there? Right there.
What's that? Oh, nah, there might be a little bit of sediment in there.
How does it smell? Does it smell okay?
Yeah, actually, there's no
Chlorine smell.
Definitely no chlorine smell. We don't have chlorine in our water out here.
I just meant from the cleaning of the tank.
No, there's no bleach smell. Yeah, it smells pretty neutral. I think that tank freshener, you're supposed to use that freshener every time you fill up. So before I fill this tank again, I'll add that. And then
what's in that stuff?
All sorts of mystery chemicals.
Yeah, right?
Actually, they're like proprietary. They don't list them, but they are. It is FDA approved. So
it means nothing to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you may just say my cat approved it.
Yeah, so after sailing, we anchored out for the weekend and used almost all of the water in the aft tank. So next time I fill it up, I'll just add more treatment and wipe it down a little bit on the inside before I top off the tank. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram under SV Ramble On. Just search for that. And you can also find us on our website at svrambleon.com.
So if you're gonna say and, which you can't stop, then don't drag it out.
Don't drag it out.
And then when you do drag it out, you go and blah, blah, blah. You say it really fast what you're gonna say after that. So then it's really hard for me to find where I can cut out that and. You got it?
Yeah.
Are you gonna say it again or are you done?
I'm going to say it again.
Okay.
So thanks for watching. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out getting our website out and getting our videos out to everybody who might want to see stuff like this.
Terrible.